All very welcome here today to MW Hiramore Park, wet and cold MW Hiramore Park for the Lee Shopping Centre Senior Football Championship quarter final between Portarlington and O'Dempsey's. I'm joined today by Eddie Kinsella, the under-20 football manager, and a lot of other accolades with you, Eddie. But today is unique, I suppose, in that both teams, neighbours, friends, and today maybe foes. This is going to be an intriguing battle, won't it?
Yeah, I'd say so, Pat, but the first one on the list is probably local bragging rights, I'd imagine, listen, Pat, I'm only in the gate, and I was looking at the stream of the first match, and I thought conditions look bad, and they are brutal, Pat. They're very bad underfoot conditions, very hard to play football today, so it's not always the prettiest teams win these, and these days it's usually the teams that want it the most. So these two teams will be going hell for leather, I'd say, from the start, so yeah, it should be an interesting battle.
Yeah, and we saw there in the previous match, and I talked to Alan Malone and asked them about the 4-week break. Now, would it play on anything mind? Now, for Portarlington, it probably meant that, and we see later with the teams, that they've been able to work on a few injuries and get fellas back. That's been important to them, and it didn't go against Grey Cullen, who won, and Ballyfin, who won both previous 4 weeks. So that 4 week is probably just in fellas' minds, is it? Or
see, it'll definitely help Portarlington, I'd imagine, because it gave Ronan Coffey and Colin Murphy time to get back to full fitness. And listen, if we was go forward to the next match, if I was the emo manager, I would be hoping we'd played 2 weeks ago, because they had a great momentum going and a break for a month. So listen, it can work in your favour and work against. But really today, I think, judging by the weather conditions and the pitch, I think all this form goes out through the window now. It's all down to this hour, and whoever wants it the most between these two teams, I think will come out on top.
And we saw who wanted it. Like the last the O'Dempseys came back from, they were down, and they really fought tooth and nail, and won it once against the run of play, but they really dug deep and carved out a win the last day. So there's a battle that's fighting them, lads, isn't there?
Oh, there is indeed, and for long periods of that game, they looked to be on the way out. And even when I think it was young Evan Lowry got straight through one goal, and he kind of got in two minds of what to do, and then O'Dempsey came back down the field and got a point to put them ahead. So listen, was right in the balance up to the end, but they did show great character. They did finish strong. They behind young Derek Dunn the last day, they came on and scored a great point, and Mark Barry got a great score. So listen, between Mark Barry and Dan McCormack, I'm not sure that after hitting their heights in the championship yet, so they'll definitely lead them lads kicking to their best today.
And Martin Murphy, of course, will have instilled a lot in these fellas, these Portarlington fellas. A lot of them are light and fit, but they'll stay going all day. Their fitness won't come against them. As you said, the toughness and the weather conditions and the tight stuff, it'll probably even out a lot of them, won't it?
It will even out, Pat, and I'll be honest and call it that if it had to be a dry, sunny day, I'd be calling a Port win. But now that's gone out to the gate, as I said before, because with these conditions, anyone could win it. A slip by a defender, a bad miss by an attacker. I think all these things can happen in these conditions, and it only takes a small little thing to turn a match.
Yeah, and Portarlington haven't been massive scoring, I suppose, and they haven't done a huge amount of scoring, but. And I suppose maybe missing Colin Murphy, he'll add a huge bit though. He's back there today. He'll add huge. He's a deadly forward.
Listen, he's a massive player for Portarlington. Obviously, if he's on form, it's going to be very hard to beat him. Listen, the talent all over the field. You know by that when you name out the team there. And I said they are probably obviously favourites going into the match. But as I said before, they can be turned over. It can be turned over on a day like today. So there's a couple of interesting battles around the field. I'd like to see how Bobby Pickett and Dan McCormack get on. They're probably going to be marking each other. Who'll pick up Ronan Coffey from Port. He does a lot of harm for Port if he's on song. So listen, O'Dempsey's need, as I said,
and the Hatch has been, he's going to start, even though they always name him as a sub. But that's Brian Breen acting the goat with us. But anyway, he's. The Hatch has been lethal, and he's going to be a handful for anyone team.
He's a very tricky forward, and he's a great scoring forward. And but does this weather help scoring forwards? We've seen the last couple of matches, it doesn't really help them to score forward. But Mark Barry, I say, has to come good. Hatch has to come good. Dan McCormack, they all have to play well for them to win today.
Seamus Mulhere is the referee for today. We're going to go and look at the teams as we have them. So we're going to start with the Portarlington team, and in goals is Scott Osborne. Full back line, Cathal Bennett, Robbie Piggott and Alex Mohan. Half back line, Stuart Mulpeter, Jason Moore and Adam Ryan. Midfield, Owen McCann and Keith Bracken. The half forward line, Ronan Coffey, Sean Byrne and Rian Murphy. And the full forward line is Jake Foster, David Murphy and Colin Murphy. So I suppose, Eddie, that change there was that Ronan Coffey comes back in and Colin Murphy come back into the team, and it looks like Colin Slevin and Stephen O'Neill make way for both of them. So I'm sure we'll see them lads later on, you would expect.
I can't believe the admission of Colin Slevin. I think it must be through injury. Maybe it's not through injury, but if it's not, I'm baffled by that, to be honest. Okay. But anyway, go ahead.
So the O'Dempsey team, as they line out, Podge Bannon is in goal. The full back line, Cormac O'Hora, Shane Nerney and Tom Kelly. The half back line, Robbie Keogh, of course, is suspended, and he's replaced by number 23, Peter O'Leary. No mean sub there is Brian Murdoch comes in, is replaced in by the Hatch. Finley is obviously coming into the forward line, but he's playing there. Fionn Holland is on the other wing back. Midfield, Brian Nugent and Barry Howland. Half forward line, Johnny Kelly, Conor Murdoch and Barry Kelly. The full forward line, Michael Finley, Dan McCormack and Mark Barry. So Seamus Mulhare gets ready to go into the middle of the field here to throw up the ball. McCann and Keith Brack in the middle of the field for them, and the same line of Nugent and Howland in the middle of the field, and McCann gets to break it down. They just fouled Barry Howland, and Portarlington with the first free, or O'Dempsey. Peter O'Leary kicked that on really quick, but that was caught by Alex Mohan out to Adam Ryan back across, comes here to Owen McCann back, and they're playing it out to Adam Ryan again, looking up the ring. Rian Murphy when they head him, but Ryan decides to go a bit further inside. That's coming inside to David Murphy, is it? No, that's Sean Byrne, Sean Byrne. He's still playing around, being tackled there heavily by Byrne, conceded the freeze to Seamus Mulhare, and that was Barry Howland a bit overzealous there.
Probably free just about, just on a word of maybe on an official, it's very hard to play football in these conditions, but it's also very hard to officiate in the games in these conditions with players slipping, and so you've got to allow a small little bit for this as well. Maybe try to keep the game moving as quick as possible.
So Peter O'Leary and Jake Foster, they know each other real well. They're actually related, but they're marking each other. So, and a bit more than bragging rights involved there if whoever wins that battle. But something going on there that Seamus Mulhare spotted. The kick is taken short, and Bracken has it. Bracken back it comes to Colin Murphy, kicks the ball, and that's a great score. And that's why they needed him back, Eddie.
Yeah, great score. Colin Murphy got the ball completely off Keith Bracken, so he was never going to miss him there, playing with a heavy wind 30 yards out. But Port have got to make advantage of this wind, Pat.
Podge Bannon with a kick out to the middle. Who's going to get him? McCann fights with no. Adam Ryan gets it down, and Barry Howland gets the breaking ball. Pops it across. O'Leary on it here. O'Leary settles, looking up, and they try and burst through the space. But he decides to settle with Johnny Kelly. Kelly across to Sean, to Conor Murdoch, and Murdoch across to Howland. Big long ball inside, but that's going to break inside for Alex Mohan. Mohan out to Adam Ryan. Ryan drops it. Being chased by Micheál Finley, but it comes out to Carl Bennett. Bennett across, but a mistake there. Micheál Finley picks it up. Inside it goes. That's Murdoch inside. The hatch was gone. Murdoch drops it. It's like playing with a bar of soap, as I said in the earlier match, and it's no different now. As the rain comes flying down, you can hear it on the thing. Comes across here to Barry Kelly. Barry goes across, picks it across. He tried to get Peter O'Leary. He does get to him over David Murphy's head. Peter sets it off. The hatch is out now. First touch on the ball. The hatch drives in the ball. He's looking for Big Dan, but he wasn't going to get that one.
No, not a good ball into Dan. There's no point in kicking the ball into Dan unless it's good quality. I'm just thinking Hatch Finley looked up, Dan looked for it straight away immediately in the square, but the pass went to the right hand side of him and out and wide. Just going back to the start of the Dempsey team, I think Robbie Keogh will be a massive loss today for Dempsey. He's always a good tough defender, but Peter Leeds are starting really well in the game.
So Scott kicked it out. Scott Osborne kicked it out short, came to Adam Ryan. Adam Ryan popped it over to Mohan, but a free Seamus Mulhare on Alex Mohan there for Portarlington. They'll be happy enough because they've gone very tight. Jason Moore kicks it off again. Rian Murphy on it. An exciting young player, this man. And here Portarlington head off now. Coffey inside, a bit over kicked. Jake Foster is going to make it, and neither was kind of Colin Murphy. But again, Ronan Coffey, another important player for Portarlington. They'll be happy to have him back as well, Eddie.
Yeah, a very exciting young prospect was Ronan. He's a great footballer down through his younger juvenile years. He's carrying on to senior level now.
So Podge Bannon with that kick out, but the wind takes it over the line, is what you can say on this occasion for Podge, and Portarlington get it. Moving off Adam Ryan. Tries to get the 1-2 going with David Murphy. Didn't. David turns back out again, pops it across to Owen McCann. McCann thought about the kick, going inside. Is that a foul? No, it's a Seamus Mulhare. They keep going at it, and they decide to clear the lines, and it's well done, well defended. Adam Ryan came out the worst of that one. It's well defended by O'Dempsey's, and they keep coming here. Johnny Kelly now back into the middle. Bracken and Johnny Kelly sets off and kicks the ball. It's a great kick outside, and he finds Tom Kelly out there. Tom Kelly did this the last day, went up that wing all day, really worked really hard for them. Coming across to Mark Barry. Barry drops out of his hands straight down to Carl Bennett's hands. Carl Bennett was delighted with that. Just unfortunate for Mark Barry as it slipped out of her hand. Jason Moore gets on the way to Adam Ryan. Adam Ryan go back up now, trying to set off again. There's a lot of O'Dempsey's player in front of him, so he's forced to go back. And he goes back to Byrne inside. Jake Foster went for it, fell to Colin Murphy. The right side for O'Dempsey's, he forced him outside. That's free in by Seamus Mulhare. Says free in to O'Dempsey's man tackle him. Shane Erning was the judge, I think, to being overzealous on that occasion.
I think it was Tom Kelly who kind of went in tackling.
Was it, yeah?
Colin, but it looked to be fairly okay. But listen, referee just gave him the benefit is out there, and Colin has a free and a tap over free. Interesting battles here. I see Alex Mohan won the first two battles that came between himself and Micheál Finlay. So Alex Mohan has started really great in this game. So
Colin Murphy, thankful of the free, will delight to stroke it over, and the umpire says it's a free, a point, and it goes over. They stretch out their lead to 2 points and no score. 5.5 minutes gone. Strong gale force wind behind them, Eddie, has to be said.
I have to say, Pat Dempsey started brightly too. In fairness, they haven't started too bad. I know they haven't on the score sheet yet, but they've started well.
So Podge Bannon with that out, it breaks to Kelly, Barry Kelly outside to Fionn Holland. Holland up the wing, comes across to Brian Nugent. The ball drops from him, but it's picked up, drops again. It's really, and they still win it. Kelly does, Barry Kelly, great work by him. Popped inside to Howland. Howland now go through the gap opening up from Jason Moore in front of him. Howland back to the Hatch. The Hatch looking to move on the play again, and he goes outside to Fionn Holland again, is it? No, that's Barry Kelly. Inside kicked, but Rian Murphy went through his hands, fell kindly to Micheál Finlay. Finlay on the left. Has he got the accuracy or the distance? No, he has neither. And Scott Osborne watches that go out over the end line and wide.
Micheál Finlay done everything well. Pat to go out and foot, there's a man won the ball well, but Storm against him there shooting. Really want to work it in, winning 21 yards out to score against that wind.
They start to kick out. Jason Moore gets it. Hatch on his back there, but the Jason wins through there. Out it comes to that was Alex Mohan outside him. Mohan outside to that's
Rona Coffey.
Yeah, Rona Coffey. Yeah, Coffey back to Adam Ryan. Ryan inside and missed there. David Murphy comes out. David will settle it. Back it comes to Coffey. Back to Ryan. Back to Murphy. Back to Adam Ryan. Ryan still going. Back to David Murphy. Murphy turns out on his right, kicks it over the bar. That's a great score.
Brilliant score, combination of Ronan Coffey, Alex Mohan, Adam Ryan and David Murphy. Super finish as well. So a good start from Port Pat.
Yeah, they're telling, and their 1-2s, their work, their pace is really telling at this stage. As Podge Bannon tries to kick it out, keeps it a little bit lower, but it still stops dead in the air and is nearly blown back. And Johnny Kelly got to win that, but it broke well there to Stuart Mulpeter. Mulpeter with Jake Foster off the upright. Off the crossbar, came back out. They were lucky there to get away with that kick out. It still breaks. O'Leary's going to mop it up. David Murphy in on him, and Seamus Mulhare said a free out. But that was close from Foster there. He got around them.
Very close. Good shot. Nearly broke the crossbar. You could hear the smack of it off and come up here. Very unfortunate for Port.
As Podge Bannon takes the kick out to Nerney. Shane Nerney back to Podge Bannon. Bannon to try and sip it as Portarlington push up on the kick out. Comes to O'Leary. O'Leary will be solid on that ball, and he clears it well there to Cormac O'Hora. O'Hora now setting off. He passes across inside. That's and he's dragged back by Jake Foster. That was Johnny Kelly being dragged back. Seamus Mulhare straight in. Nothing you could do with that. It's not a black card offence, but it's probably something more taken at that stage, is it?
Yeah, but it's a free. It's a free. He's given the free. People getting excited on the sideline there. But it's a free only.
So the Hatch is out to take that. I thought
tough kick.
Yeah, it is a tough kick. Yeah, and there's Big Dan is getting loads of attention aside. There's maybe 3 or 4 around him there. And Robbie Piggott is definitely one of them. You know, Piggott's boots are all there, and as he said from start of the job. Anyway, we won't put off the Hatch. The Hatch will have a crack at this anyway. See how he gets on. just inside the 45. He hits it a good
Dangerous.
thump. Big Dan is underneath it. It breaks inside, but it still breaks out. Mike Barry going for it, but Mulpeter gets it straight away. Mulpeter Stewart wins it for Mark Barry, trying to get to him, and Mulpeter breaks out strong. The ball breaks away to Johnny Kelly. Kelly is side to Big Dan. Big Dan now has it. He tried to be an impossible tax. That was hard on Peter O'Leary. No, hard on Barry Kelly, but away goes Seamus Mulher. Says play on. Now they're coming. Howland is picking up now. The intensity and the pace is picking up as he tries to break through 3-4 players. But he wins the free, Barry Howland there. 4 Portarlington players around him, and they're still there. They should move away. Ronan Coffey, one of them, just needs to move away and, settle things down.
Yeah, see the referee calling over. Who is it?
Ronan Coffey, yeah.
Just to have a chat, just cool it down a small bit. Barry Howland done very well. Barry Howland's actually started very well in the match, but that's 4 or 5 possessions after having already. Listen, he was on the under 20 team last year. Very improved player for Dempsey's. Every time you look at him, he seems to be getting bigger as well.
Yeah. I'm not sure who's down for Portarlington at this point in time. No injuries they'll want to this time. Someone's knee there their leg getting manoeuvred around the place. We'll see in a minute as the hatch is out with this free, and Podge Bannon getting a bit of advice here from, obviously he's not happy with his kickouts because he knows the wind is against him, but Portarlington player gets back to the ground. Is that Sean? No, it's Keith Bracken, yeah. And Bracken gingerly moves away and calls back Sean Byrne to take his position while he tries to give this bit of space out there, a bit of a breather. He gingerly walks away. The hatch takes the kick though, goes inside. Mark Barry on it. He jinked and he read that ball well. Goes out to Johnny Kelly. Kelly back out to Barry Kelly. Barry trying to go through a big crowd of Portarlington lads ahead of Mark Barry is one of them. And here comes Peter O'Leary down through the middle. He sees the far side as players, and they're swarmed by Portarlington players, and they break out. Sean Byrne breaks out. Naib to take control of it, and they claiming looking for a free. And there's lots. Colin Murphy's gone. Barry Kelly, lots of lads that know each other, went to school with each other, Alan, I'm sure. And Seamus Mulher called us back. It is an injured O'Dempsey's player on the ground. But these fellas know each other real well. But every ball they're really fighting hard for. But Portarlington's defence there, they really swarmed at them, didn't they?
Yeah, and they're defending fairly good, and both teams are playing well actually.
Yeah.
It's a good lively start to the game. See, it's unfortunate we probably can't see from at home, but there's a strong wind blowing down towards every league's end, and I'm playing a massive part in this game now. I think 5 or 6 point lead will have to be needed by Portarlington. Because O'Dempsey's not going to lie down easy here today.
No. So there's an injured O'Dempsey's man down. Seamus Mulher standing over him there.
He looks very uncomfortable.
He does, yeah. But Portarlington have the free. Keith Bracken's still kind of gingerly walking around there. Alan, you can see if that doesn't shake that off shortly, he could be coming out here. That's the hatch, so they play on. Sean Byrne gives to Jason Moore back to Byrne. Mark Barry coming out to Byrne, but isn't able to intercept him. Big launch one in. Who's this going to? Colin Murphy played that well. He nearly broke to David, but he still gets it. He breaks aside. Barry Howland out towards him. David trying to get on the right boot, and David can score those all day, and that's what he does. Exceptional.
It was a great score. The ball was kicked in long into Colin Murphy. Colin gave Shane Downey a small bit of a nudge just in the ball coming, and it broke to David. And David's. But you're right, Pat. Keith Bracken is in massive trouble here. For Port, I can't see him unless he did run that off. He's hopping very bad.
So Podge goes out underneath Howland, but that breaks to Colin Murphy. Who else gets it? He can't kick it into himself. He should be beside her. He's able to lose control. 3 lads around him. Peter O'Leary, 4 of them nearly, but he still gets the all the way to Coffey. Ronan Coffey, can he pick it up? He let it go. He tried to pick it up. He does come up eventually. He dragged and pulled. Seamus Mulher said no, it breaks inside. Rian Murphy tried to get it, tick of it. Nothing, said that the ball, says Seamus Mulher. It comes out to Bracken, the man we were talking about earlier. He's back okay. Hopefully for them. Adam Ryan drops it. Like playing with a bar of soap, he said. Ryan, a great ball inside to David Murphy. It was always cute, he'll stay there. But unfortunately for David, it just bounced off his knee. And it's so hard out there to play. It's a credit to both teams to try and play football in those conditions, Alan.
Yeah,
or Eddie.
They're getting it very hard. Listen, as I said, the conditions is playing a big part in it, Pat. Good game. I see Colin Slevin coming on.
Yeah, so I say Keith Bracken maybe making way for it, and Colin Slevin, who we definitely felt would make some appearance. He'd probably make it earlier than he thought he would, and we would have thought he might have been on to the start. But anyway, he's only got 13 minutes sitting on the bench, and he's in now. And the team certainly won't be weakened by bringing in Colin Slevin and Eddie.
As I said before, I was amazed at the start. But listen, Keith Bracken is a man that Port won't like to lose because he's a good warrior.
Yeah.
Kind of an unsung hero for Port. Very seldom plays a poor game.
Yeah.
So he must have got a dead leg or something there. He's not actually too pleased about being come on.
No, I'd say maybe their idea is to get a bit of treatment on him, give him time and see they need him later on. Teams tend to do that again. 2 Portarlington has got to Rian Murphy come out with that in fairness to him. And now it comes down to Ronan Coffey inside quickly. Could Jake Foster get on to the end of this? No, and it went by Colin Murphy, and Jake Foster just a little bit overkicked. David Murphy is reminding him to Ronan to just a little bit better settling on the kick.
See, when you have the wind, Pat, sometimes you're inclined to overplay the ball inside. Maybe something like you don't have to go along every time when you're playing with a strong wind. Like it just helps when you're shooting really more.
So Podge Bannon coming out again, a long one out into the middle of the field. A big crowd underneath. Seamus Byrne, who was going to break to Ronan Coffey, but it was Brian Nugent that sweeps it up to Peter O'Leary. O'Leary's outside here to Barry Kelly, but it drops out his hands, and who's in on David Murphy, but Barry Kelly wins that. It's not gone yet. Rian Murphy, tenacious tackling by Rian is still there, and David Murphy comes out with it. Great tackling by Rian. David looks up, no options on, but he won't waste it. Pops aside to Coffey. Owen McCann is at the back here to find him. Aimless ball inside with Ronan Coffey that was never going to make Owen McCann, but he's still in danger, not averted yet, as Cormac O'Hara breaks out with it. And it comes across, but Portarlington thing, Ronan Coffey bit over zealous on that attack, Eddie. O'Dempsey's lucky enough to come out with it. It comes to Nerney outside here now, looking to the Hatch, who's very far back the field, but wants to get the ball and get it going. They'll need to carry the ball a lot into that wind. Johnny Kelly back to Nerney, McCann onto him, and Brian Nugent has it now. Nugent across here to his countermate Barry Howland we tracked by McCann. Howland looking up the scene, not much options on. Portarlington sticking tight to their players aside. Johnny Kelly, is he going to make a burst through it? He does, he hops it, he gets away from him, he tries to do it, but Owen McCann straight in, and Owen McCann, the judge had picked it up off the ground.
Mistake there by Owen right in front of the referee's eyes.
And I'm sure Brendan will have a word with him later on about that. And it goes back to Nugent, back to the Hatch with Ronan Coffey coming towards him, trying to dispossess him. He didn't use Peter O'Leary. He went back to Cormac O'Hara now, they're just settled up, comes back here to the Hatch. The Hatch, I'm sure, look for Peter O'Leary. No, he goes back to options not there now. He's struggling on the ball there. When they look up, the options aren't there. Well, Peter O'Leary won't do too much. Just Barry Howland breaks off. The storms are raging here now, is all I can say. As Barry Kelly tries to get into the ball, but Mark Barry got hunted. Barry now going to go through the middle, turning right, slips in the conditions. Out he comes back. I don't know who's the numbers are gone now. Rian Murphy in bravely, but didn't make that. And they do tackle Jason Morgan in the tackle. Coming outside to Howland now again. Howland. Quick click inside. Ronan Coffey got a block on it. O'Dempsey to chase back. Colin Murphy coming to it. Murphy's first to it. Murphy turned inside. He has Coffey inside him. We decides to go back to Adam Ryan. Ryan trying to get by Howland. Drag back, says Seamus Mulhare, and a free in.
Great work there again from Colin Murphy. And great support play by Adam Ryan as well. Definite free in for Port. Let's go put 5 in the pat.
Yeah, Colin Murphy just looking at Jake Foster coming out to him. Colin Murphy looks to be, he's done an awful lot of tracking and working and running and that, and Jake Foster got a chance, fancies he may go short. Ronan Coffey's in there, you see inside. Rian Murphy, not the tallest him in, but David Murphy's in there, and he'll be ready to pounce if anything drops short or comes back off the upright. Well, and Ronan Coffey now going short for this attack back to, he has it. He got off Foster outside to went out to Colin Slevin, out to Colin Murphy. Murphy turns blue, great block there by Barry Howland, I think, at that occasion. It was super. Breaks out to Barry Kelly. Kelly up the wing, comes up to Nugent on the way, and there come Nerney. Nerney can do those runs if he wants to. He's claiming, looking for, no, it's not. He's back to Fionn Holland. Holland outside here to Conor Meredith. Conor Meredith got injured last, he got taken off. It was a big loss for them at that time, but they still won at the end. But Tom Kelly now. Kelly across to Johnny Kelly. Mark Berry has gone on to this, but he tracked heavily by 2 Portarlington men. Rian Murphy is one of them. Back to down tackling. The ball goes to the ground there. And Portarlington break out with it. The head down. No, says Seamus Mulhare, no free. Ball everywhere. Lots of people picking up. Mihal Finley's there with it. Mihal Finley wins the free. Tenacious stuff, but Seamus Mulher wants to settle this down now and calm people down, I suppose. Michal was lucky. He could have been a throw up there. He
Could have been a throw up,
yeah.
in retaliation. But listen, I think Mark was probably fouled the first time, I'd say. To give him the free, maybe.
Goes short to Conor Murdo. Murdo tries to kick, and that could bend across. And that's a fantastic score. Yeah, absolutely great score. Yeah.
Water break, Pat.
Yeah, we head for a water break. Both teams will quickly get back. I suppose it'd be good for O'Dempsey's after getting that score just before it, I suppose. And they jog off fairly briskly to their sideline. So, Portarlington, would you be happy enough so far? The wind?
I actually think both managers could be slightly happy with the performance. The O'Dempsey's have actually played well for the first 15, 16 minutes. That point is massive for them the right before the break, the water break there from Conor Murdo. The great score it was. So Port is 4-1 up. Listen, their manager will be Martin Murphy now will be probably a little bit disappointed they missed the goal chance there to Jeff hit the crossbar. But listen, that's only inches past, so hard luck. So listen, it's a very good lively game. Anyone's game, yeah.
Yeah, and there hasn't been too many wides. O'Dempsey's only had 2 wides in the first 15 minutes. Portarlington one of them. But and we did comment on this, of course it is against the win for Podge Bannon. Yeah. O'Dempsey's have only won 4 of their 7 kickouts, lost 3 of them. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean, that's not full. But again, against those conditions, you wouldn't expect
to see 2 of them went out over the sideline, and that was truly through the wind. I don't people watching at home mightn't understand the strength of the wind, but it's massive. As you alluded there a few times past, nearly storm here. So if O'Dempsey goes in at half time 3 to 4 points down, they won't be too disappointed with that first half performance.
So we go back to the start of the water break. Portarlington 4 points, O'Dempsey's 1. Just scored their first score there just before the water break. So it's a good 16, 17 minutes gone before they got any score on the board. But it's a huge wind blowing down from a gale force storm blowing into their faces. To try and face up in it. But this is going to start with Scott Osborne with a kick out for Portarlington as Sean Byrne goes out to look for it, breaks out to Murdo. Conor Murdo got onto that there, and they're coming now. Barry Kelly up, howling onto him. Who's this break? Howling back to Barry Kelly. Kelly, the lads lining up outside it. Hatch is out there again, and he goes back to Fionn Holland, back to Conor Murdo. So where they started off to come back a good bit of distance. Now Murdo sees the gap. Rona Coffey did great dispossession of Coffey and tried to take the ball up, but it was really well done by Rona Coffey. Very important as he looks up, crowd in front of him, but he gets the ball out. Adam Ryan and back to Coffey. Coffey pops out to Rian Murphy. Rian has really developed into a great player so far. Came on the first game for them and is really an excellent underage player, but David Murphy on it. More back out to Rian, that goes over the head. Rian not confident to take it, didn't back up to take the kick. Passes outside to Colin Murphy. Colin Murphy on it. Goes outside, 3 O'Dempsey's man going to. Back to Jason Coffey. Coffey out here to McCann. Owen McCann. Looking up, see what options are. Mulpeter went ahead of him, but comes out here to Jake Foster, and Jake Foster was swung around needlessly. I don't think he was going anywhere really, Eddie, was he?
No, I don't think so. It was more an awkward challenge by Brian Nugent more than anything else. Listen, should give them an easy free with the storm behind them. They should tap over the spot of the bar.
So Colin Murphy's coming over to Jake, and he says, look, maybe I'll have a go at it. I have the wind and it's on my side or whatever. So Colin Murphy takes up and kicks it straight over straight over a great score.
Right tries from Colin Murphy. We probably knew it was a little bit of Jake Foster's range, so he took responsibility over. A great score, put them 5-1 up. Just on the Dempsey side, Barry Kelly has started the game excellently. He's all over the place. His father would have been on the team the last time he's met in 1998 in a quarter final.
Right.
Eddie Kelly, of course, a great footballer.
Absolutely, and he managed them in all instances. Conor Murdo takes on the ball and it drops out of his hand again. In there's Adam Ryan, but he still managed. Mark Barry comes out to clean it up and gets it, and they're back still in control of it. Coming out here, O'Leary, just a bit of a ball against him. It's a dodgy ball that goes in, and a free in as Colin Slevin looked to slide in there. Probably lost his footing there, but anyway, Peter wins the free.
I think he won the ball. It was a little bit unfortunate. There may be conditions that played a part there.
Yeah. Peter O'Leary, you look for the option, someone short to come to him. He'll want. Here he is. He presents in front of him, and he goes short. Johnny Kelly back to Peter. Peter looking for 1-2. They were coming outside there. Breaks. Mark Barry is at Micheál Finley on the ground. They're trying to play with it, and the breaks off the line. Yeah, tenacious tackling again by Cathal Bennett and Alex Mohan there. And Mohan takes a silent kick back to Colin Slevin. Slevin back to Mohan. Mohan now back to Slevin again as Slevin out here to Cathal Bennett. Great young lads that have really done well. So the years coming up for their club as well in underage. Back he comes to Sean Byrne. Byrne skips by him. Off he goes and facing him, but that's a dangerous ball inside. Colin Murphy, very hard to expect them to get that one as Barry Howland got it. Howland goes to the ground. Colin Murphy tackling out to Nugent. Nugent tries to pick it up. Colin Murphy still there trying to tackle. Nugent back he comes to Cormac O'Hora. O'Hora out to Barry Kelly. Kelly, an awkward pass back, but Tom Kelly will get back there in time. He's been chased by Rian Murphy. They're back in their corner flag. Rian trying to put in the tackle on him, but Tom Kelly getting away with it. Drops to the ground. He still has it. Is he dragged to the ground? He was. His foot was impeded there by Owen McCann, and they win the free out, and they'll be happy with that. O'Dempsey is trying to clear their lines, Eddie.
Yeah, and can also slow this game down a bit, bringing up the ball a bit now as well for a bit of messing by Portarlington.
So 25 minutes gone. Portarlington lead 5 points. O'Dempsey's 1 point. As some O'Dempsey's players down now. Referee's attention called to them. I'm not sure what happened there. Does it look like Tom Kelly? I'm not sure.
Tom Kelly, Tom Kelly.
Yeah. Not sure what happened there, and if it's a head injury, they'll have to stop the play and deal with it. I think the umpires are conversing there with Seamus Mulhare. Not sure whether they saw anything, but he's not going into him. The linesman is.
Yeah, it's a head injury, Pat. So listen, if all referees are instructed to stop the play with 20 head injuries, so I know sometimes maybe injuries to the stomach might become a head injury very quickly. Especially when you're playing against the wind.
Now the leg has been moved, so Seamus Mulhare seen that, so he plays on. So Barry Kelly took that quick to Big Dan. Big Dan came out from the breaks back to the hatch. The hatch being swarmed by Jason Moore and David Murphy, and he's given it free. Lucky enough, I think, to get that one there, but anyway, he'll be happy to hatch. Won't mind as Peter O'Leary takes on. O'Leary trying to get everything motoring here today. Big Dan McCormick comes out with Dan back to O'Leary. O'Leary in through the middle to Conor Meredith. These lads have linked up a lot before in many years past, and they'll do it again today. Brian Nugent runs into trouble a few. Barry Kelly comes out to help him back to Howland. Howland looks up, goes back out, time to drop the ball again, and off they go again. Peter O'Leary was waiting there all the time for it. It drops out of his hands. Again he tries to slide to it. Rian was in there. Was that a free? I'm not sure, was it not? It wasn't. It was very like Colin Seven's one, but I'm not sure the referee's indicated a free, has he?
Yeah, it's an accident. There's a problem here. I see Barry Kelly waving for someone to come in. There's I just think Seamus Mulhare blew it up because he just thought it was an accidental clash. I'd say this could be a throw ball, but I'm not sure now.
I think it looks like Conor Meredith is down there. If I'm not wrong, just looking around the field to see. I don't see Conor up, and Rian was in there, but the talk about Rian. Rian is back doing the fierce amount of tackling, isn't he, for a tenacious young man in fairness.
He covers he's a super fit young footballer. Covers an awful lot of ground. Definitely will empty the tank when when he's given certain instructions, he'll carry it out. He's a great young chap. I see Conor Meredith here, so it's not Conor Meredith.
Is it not? No, sorry, okay, right.
I don't know who.
Oh yeah. We'll figure it out now shortly, but O'Dempsey's will be worried about this. Their physio out there, their management team, one of them out there. They have a sub here ready to warm up. When he takes off the jumper, we'll understand. There's still the calls to the sideline, I'm not sure yet. Sean Cotter asking there, and Frank Finn asking what the prognosis is. No real decision yet from the physio.
No decision. They're seeing the last 5 or 10 minutes. Dan McCormick has come more out the field to try and get into the game, but Robbie Pickett has failed to follow him. He's staying in around the D, Robbie, and I don't think Robbie has been on the ball as yet, but neither has Dan, so the two of them are kind of keeping each other quiet.
They are, yeah. So a few minutes been here now. They'll obviously be added on by Seamus Mulhare. This is suit neither team to be standing out there in the rain. Eddie, they'd love to get to half time and hide away up into the stand and try and get dry jerseys on them, but this is a cold, wet day for them, windy day. But of course remember we're in October, so
I'm just trying to figure out who the Dempsey player is. It's not Barry Howland.
No,
it could be Brian Nugent.
Could be. So the players trying to keep them warm, jogging around, trying to keep them warm, as I said. And thankfully it's the Hatch Finley. Oh no, it's Peter O'Leary.
Peter O'Leary,
it's Peter, and very good.
Yeah, he's okay.
He gets up, and Peter will run the half, you can be sure of it. You want no legs in that man to take him off, you know what I mean?
I think he got shaken in the head. I think he must have got a belt in the head and he going down the ball or something.
Yeah. So the ball's thrown up. Big Dan is in there. You're expecting to win it. He didn't break out, but O'Dempsey's retain it. Fionn Holland has it. He jinxed by one or two players and pops it outside. So, and that's Howland on it now. Back it comes. Dempsey's in control of this ball. Now Barry Kelly waiting to get it, and he does. And he's going to set up through the middle. The gap opens up, and here's Peter. The man was down before. No ill effects on that. It's back to Barry Kelly. Out to Mark Barry. He said Mark Barry, as you said earlier, you need him on form and to kick a few of those. He's probably a bit far out that time. Fionn Holland kicks a short though. Sean Byrne is time to drop and try and pick it up again. He tackled by Nugent, and Nugent unfairly held him up. Sean Byrne coming back. Obviously, he has a word with the referee. Seamus didn't like what he said to him or whatever it was. He's now pleading his innocence. Probably too late, Eddie, to plead your innocence this stage.
But it's a needless yellow card if it is a yellow card because with conditions the way they are, it puts him under a little bit of pressure for the rest of the game now.
Yeah.
No, he's got in mind he's tackling now.
Yeah, so Brian Nugent with the yellow card there. Sean Byrne going to take it. No movement from the fellas in front of him, but Adam Ryan goes and gives it back to him. Coming across here, Slevin with the hands out waiting for it. Colin Slevin back to Sean Byrne. Sean Byrne trying the ball inside, goes outside, but that's a very
waste.
A real waste, I suppose. I was expecting so much out of these lads on a wet surface to try and get that one.
It's unlike Sean. To be giving away possession so easy. Top footballer though, Pat Sean Byrne.
Yeah, absolutely. Podgman has to go all the way out to the corner flag to retrieve the ball.
I'm not sure we've been.
There is one or two of them up there, but they're obviously not suitable. The two that are behind the goal. And then Podge will do rightly so, take a bit of time as he pulls the tee out from his back pocket, puts it down and going to look. So they've been going 50-50 balls on their kick out, hit it up and hope that one of their boys come underneath it. And it looks like Howland is, but that's break by McCann, but it breaks down to Meredith, Conor Meredith. Strong man in there, right man on the ball for O'Dempsey's point of view. Fionn Holland turns back and West moves on up, and that's Tom Kelly, I think. Kelly kicks along to O'Leary. O'Leary being real busy today, and this players you wouldn't expect any different from Peter. And setting it up from Holland back out to Barry Kelly, another busy man back to Peter O'Leary. O'Leary switches the play across here to Howland. Howland drops it. Portarlington has in on him quick, but they still get by him. Breaks out to Barry Kelly. Great play off the ball, and Seamus Malaire spotted him. Well, Peter Stewart there collided with a player off the ball. That black card territory.
I didn't see it, Pat. It was number Stuart Mulpeter.
I just saw Barry Howland going to the ground and Stuart Mulpeter pleading his innocence. So
before that, Pat,
did he trip him up to the? It's a trip, so that's only yellow, is it? One, Eddie, you'll give a yellow. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but great patient build up from
that's a black card.
Great patient build up from O'Dempsey to get that. Some lovely short hand passing.
So just to explain, the black card gives you 10 minutes now.
10 minutes now.
In the sin bin.
In the sin bin kind of thing. That was the
10 minutes of player. We're going into 32 minutes. We don't know what time is going to be added on. We don't know. As Johnny Kelly gets on it, pops it outside. And that's Howland, was it? And that's gone to the right and wide. A wasted chance for them.
To see, they're fairly scarce up here against the wind, Pat. And any time they do get it up, they want to be taking their chances. But that's 10 minutes now for Mulpeter. That'll be a massive loss to Port.
It will, It will indeed, So Scott Horsburn comes out, 32.5 minutes gone. Portarlington leave 5 points to 1. Terrible conditions for football, but in fairness to both teams, they're really trying their best. As Jason Moore goes on to try and pick up this ball, and he does. He gets it. Very fit man on the ball. Will put all in, won't be hard to take it off him as Adam Ryan comes back, puts it back to Carl Bennett. Bennett across to Slevin. Slevin over here to David Murphy. He's back real far. Now going to fill the gap maybe from Mulpeter, but he coughs the ball up to O'Dempsey's. Nugent gets away with it. Across from me, off friendly Peter O'Leary. And Johnny Kelly's gone outside, but Peter's held up by Jason Moore. And that's well done by Jason Moore, but a free given in. Given in. It was slow to point the free, but
I think it was a free though, just about a free for O'Dempsey's now, and they'll be delighted with this. There's only 2 minutes left, and if they tap this over, there'll be only 3 points in it.
And Tom Bean looks to be warming up for Dempsey. He's not sure who'll be coming in for, but Tom Bean was real busy man last day. Very good player.
Big physical player.
Player, They send him back to warm up again. He's getting a bit of paper, so they're going to make the change. But the Hatch Finley's coming up first to try and convert this and get him another point up. Another point on the scoreboard before half time, which should be fast approaching. and the Hatch takes this. Is it going over? It is.
Yeah, it's a great score.
It's gone over the bar. Great score.
Great score again to win. I think Tom Kelly's in a bit of trouble for Dempsey's here. Number 4. He seems to be holding the back of his hamstring a bit. So
and he does. He makes his way off here already. Absolutely, Tom Kelly. And he'd be a big loss for them. But Tom being one weakened the team at all. But we saw him go down there, as I said a few minutes ago. So that's obviously what was wrong with him, and that's unfortunate there for Tom Kelly.
And Tom was playing quite well.
He was, So as Seamus Mulher calls half time, 34 minutes, 20 seconds gone. Hard game in these conditions, Eddie. Portarlington 5 points to 2 up, only 3 points in it, but a gale force wind to come in the second half. Is that enough? Have Portarlington done enough so far?
I tell you what, Pat, it makes for a very interesting second half. Obviously, conditions are playing a big part in the game. There's no game going to be high scoring in a winter like today. And not only is it windy and rain, but it's also cold in it. But listen, I think O'Dempsey's will be happy enough with that first half performance. Like, they're only 3 points behind. They're going to turn around the second half play with a storm, and then Port have a 3-point advantage. So I just think Martin Murphy might be the slightly more worried manager of the two now, going into the second half, even though they are 3 points up.
I see Peter O'Leary going in. There's a bit of ice on the jaw of his there, so you said that collision there a while ago, I think is still telling his tale in it. But again, Portarlington, the two Murphys have done the scoring from Colin with 3 points and David with 2, and Micheál Finlay has got the point for O'Dempsey's, and then the Hatch then with 1 over the bar there is a free. So it's all to play for in the second half. We're going to leave you in as Portarlington lads head to the stand, probably O'Dempsey's lads up the stand. I reckon new set of jerseys is in order for both teams, and we'll take a break at this half time. We'll be back to you very shortly, I'm sure. 5 points to 3, Portarlington lead O'Dempsey's. Very welcome back to MW Hire Moore Park for the second half of this Lee Shopping Centre Senior Football Championship quarter final. And at the break, Portarlington were leading by 5 points to O'Dempsey's 2 points, and both teams come out onto the field. Very wet and windy conditions. Eddie, going in, O'Dempsey's maybe not happier. They're going to outplay with that strong wind, whatever's out there.
Well, I'm happier, I don't know, Pat, but definitely still in the game. They still definitely have a massive chance of pulling off maybe a slight shock to some people here today. They started reasonably well in the game, although they didn't get on the scoreboard, I think, until the 15th or 16th minute. But I'll tell you what's important for them here now. A fast start in this half might really set them up for a historic win against Port today.
So Sean Byrne has gone to the middle of the field for the throw-up. Obviously Keith Bracken went off there injured in the first half. And Colin Slevin came into the game for Portarlington. Seamus Mulher ready to start it off. Up it goes between McCann and Howland, and McCann breaks it down to Sean Byrne. Byrne, Ryan went by him, but he didn't decide to play him. Back it comes to David Murphy now. Murphy drops out his hand again. Really slippy, but tenacious as ever. He gets control of it again. Does he? No, he's on fellas all over. He's trying to dig it out of the ground, and Portarlington to come away with it. And Hatch is on it now. The Hatch being tackled by Jason Moore. Puts it aside there to Mark Barry. Barry goes down for it, takes the ball up. Barry trying to get on his left or right now, puts it back out to Barry Kelly. Barry Kelly out to the Hatch. The Hatch inside now. Outside to Mark Barry. Barry trying to get the space for himself. Going to fancy a chance to stay with the wind shortly. David Murphy tries to tackle him. He gets by him. Conor Murdo goes for a shot. Big Dan is in underneath it, but that goes out and misses them all, Eddie.
Waste, yeah, that's a waste. Conor will be disappointed with that. Again, the wind took a big part in that. If you keep kicking the ball in there, anything can at least overkick the ball and to waste. So that's a big waste from O'Dempsey's. Be more patient on the ball, even though they are playing with the wind.
Now we see how Scott Osborne's goal. The first kick out against the wind now. Where is he going to go with it? He goes low, and that goes straight to Mark Barry. And that's a mistake. Back to Conor Murdo. Murdo doesn't know where to go. He turns on the right, takes the kick, and luckily for Portarlington, he just put that to the right and wide, Eddie.
I think Mark Barry should have took on that shot, Pat.
Yeah.
He was kind of an acreage of space. Instead, he just popped it over to Conor, and Conor actually turned onto his weaker foot, his right foot, and kicked it wide.
Mark Barry's well able to kick those, just needs to back himself. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He's been on the county team, just needs to back himself and go at it. And okay, if you miss, fair enough. But as you said, I think when Conor got it, he didn't seem to be expected to get it. Scott Osborne tries again to kick out now. All that, how long our crowd are calling again. I think Tony Brennan invented that, did he? And we're going to claim him for. But anyway, Brian Nugent claimed that in the middle of the field and got to Mark. He didn't. He's trying to play on. Barry Howland gets it now. Out it comes to Johnny Kelly. Johnny, the ganders up on O'Dempsey's. They feel that there's a chance here. They might get back in on level terms fairly soon as Howland is turned back out by Murphy and Slevin. But Portarlington to the tackling, and in comes Coffey and on to Slevin. Slevin on to Coffey. They play with each other all up through the ranks, through the years. Coffey going there, obviously changed the jersey at half time, ends up with an old set with the green number on the back of it. And a free out to Seamus Mulher as Nerney is delighted with himself. Shane Nerney be delighted to be hoping Paul Dargan will take photo of him winning that ball. But off they go again. Nugent has it now. Coming up hard there was that's Cormac O'Hore, I think. Is hopping it, but the ball is very dead when it hops, Eddie, isn't it? It's catching players out, and they've given that away to Adam Ryan, to Jason Moore. He got by Murdered. Jason Moore to Coffey now. Jason Coffey with the green number on the back. Across here to Jason Moore. He's switched sides across here. Nearly intercepted with a hatch, but it comes to Sean Byrne. Byrne now goes through the middle. 3-4 men coming to him. Comes to David Murphy. Back to Byrne. I don't know was he expecting that either. Drops out his hand out to Jake Foster. Foster back to David Murphy. Murphy looks up. The ball is side to Colin. Colin was O'Leary. He gets by him. He's gone. Inside is Slevin. Slevin on the ball. Slevin takes a shot. And that's a great save by Podge Bannon. A great save that really needed to be done.
Great save.
And it's not gone yet. David Murphy intercepts with Jake Foster. Portarlington trying to go for the juggler here and trying to get a score. Got nothing yet. And the breaks outside. Conor Murdo comes off and thing. That was some save by Podge Bannon.
That kept them in the game because it had to go down by 6 points there. There could have been trouble.
Quick kick across to Jason Moore. Moore has Adam Ryan outside him. He also has Rian Murphy. Moore didn't go. Popped out his hands. Popped to the side. Adam Ryan gets the hands on it. The ball going all over the place. Colin Slevin. Back to Adam Ryan. Ryan on the left boot. And that's an excellent score, Eddie. That's really what Portarlington wanted.
Brilliant score. Brilliant work by Adam Ryan. Great score by Adam Ryan. But Jason Moore was the one that started. Ped 1-2 with Colin Slevin. and took a brilliant score. He must have been 35 yards out against the Storm. That's a score of the game so far, Pat.
Colin Murphy was down there for a minute, and Portarlington's hearts are in their mouths, but he's bounced back up again, thankfully for them, as Podge Bannon begins to kick out, and Barry Kelly's order to take the kick out quickly. O'Leary's in front of him if he plays him. Peter O'Leary going free. He'll always make that space and always have that run, that diagonal run to make himself free. Owen McCann trying to keep him in play, but it isn't. The Portarlington or O'Dempsey still have it as Tom Bean moves across to Barry Kelly. Kelly, a great turn outside the player. He left Jason Coffey in his wake there. Barry Kelly coming across here to Tom Bean. The hatch was gone. That was a big hit by Jason Moore. Big hit. I'm not sure it was intentional, lady. No. I think it's just the way the player turned into him,
Yeah, it kind of turned into him, but listen, it'll be, I'd imagine it'll be a car and free in for O'Dempsey's. We're just going back to the first two chances that Dempsey had in the first half, Pat, like to fail to score them, and they're relatively easy chances, which would have put just 1 point in the game now. There had to be, instead of that now there's 4 when Port went up in their first attack and got a point. So.
Yeah, Jason Moore is a strong player, not a dirty player by any means, in fairness, and puts his heart into the whole game. And in fairness, he gets a yellow card and he taps the player on his back there, and it was just the way it happened. It looked far more worse than it was, but Barry Howland, I think, is up.
Barry's alright. He didn't make a meal of it either.
No, he didn't know. Fair play to all. We continue on as the hatch puts this down now. He'll fancy this chance, I'm sure, with the wind at his back or the storm at his back. I suppose as the rain keeps hammering down here, it has all day, and the wind is stayed going all day. But stat is yellow, I'd say. It's turned to stat is red, but can they go to blue and yellow now if they pop this over? And the ball is so strong it moves off his tee that the hatch had teed up for himself there for this free, but he sets it back down again. Colin Murphy in front there with the hands up, trying to guide him maybe, but the hatch takes the kick. Has that gone to the right and wide? It's brought and kept in play there by Michael Hall Finley. They try to break out with it, and that's Carl Bennett. Did he go over the line? Did his big scramble in there now? A lot of players holding each other off. Who has it? Carl Bennett. A free out says Seamus Mulhere, and he quickly retreats himself. Seamus out of the way. I think Portarlington to be happy enough with that free, Eddie.
Yeah, they will. It looked a little bit the player had nowhere to go really, but
anyway. If in doubt, give it out one. Maybe Sean Byrne breaks there. He goes to tackle harder by Brian Nugent. That was I think Brian was a little bit hard in that.
I think Brian Nugent is on a yellow card.
To dispossess him.
Brian is on a yellow card here now, so I'm not sure.
We didn't see the black card returned, did they? I'm sure they would know at this stage for Portarlington.
That's a massive blow.
Mulpeter, is he back? We'll have a look out there now at the moment. Remember, Stuart Mulpeter went off with the black card.
That's right, yeah.
Anyway, Jason Moore has it. Comes back here to Carl Bennett. Bennett to Owen McCann to Sean Byrne. Byrne now. Off it goes. David Murphy up front. Gets his hand to David. He done really well there. 2 lads on his back. And no, says Seamus Mulhere. Mulhere says no, this is a big scramble. How he saw that, he did anyway. He saw a touch on the ground and a free out for O'Dempsey's.
Shane only stuck in the middle of it again there. I tell you, he's having a good game for O'Dempsey's. Good and steady game, but listen, he never fails to let them down. Big strong man.
O'Dempsey's down man, but they've been down before in games and they've held on. But this is going to be a tough task one. But Podge Bannon makes it the extra man who goes outside to Barry Kelly. Kelly being tackled there hard by Rian Murphy. Rian, really tenacious tackler, great player. As Mial comes out and meets him, it goes on to Barry Kelly, who's up beside him, only O'Leary. O'Leary takes it with the right kick. If that goes over, that's a fantastic score. That's a score for the team being led by a man who's just absolutely been outstanding today.
Peter O'Leary's, does he ever play bad for O'Dempsey's?
No, never.
I don't know, he just adds a bit of a lift to O'Dempsey's. Only 3 points down. There's your man Peter back in for the black card.
We were wondering whether he was back, so he's back now. So that's Portarlington back to 15. O'Dempsey's are on 14, and we see Derek Dunn, who came in the last really strong player. Come on, but it comes out to Shawnee Byrne. He's to get control of it. He does. He's tackled from behind by Barry Howland. Unnecessarily on the free to Portarlington. Byrne gets it on. Colin Slevin hit hard, put out by Barry Howland. A shoulder, says Brendan, says Seamus Mulhere. Slevin, we won't be able to see the numbers back because he's full of muck. As Mark Barry looks now to try and kick this ball, and he does. Kicks inside. Johnny Kelly Colin Murphy got through him and Johnny Kelly has it. He's still going through, the ball breaks him and taps it away in front. Micheál Finlay down it, but Adam Ryan is in there to deal with. No, still on the ground. Adam Ryan looking for it. He's trying to get out. It's bobbling around there. Big rucks going on. Seamus Mulhare on his knees to try and see who's going to win this. And he gives it out. Another free out. Saw it over thing. But anyway, Sean Byrne breaks. Slevin is outside him. His jersey full. And he's still going. Mulpeter, who's fresh in, is giving him the option on the right to Sean Byrne. But comes to David Murphy. Mulpeter's still going. Now he gets it. He's had a bit of a break for the last 10 minutes. Seamus Mulhare said I think it was more of a slipping to him rather than a free. Got a little tip in the head for himself. So Jason Rona Coffey now with the ball.
I think Port have got to up it a gear now, Pat, to have 15 men against 14. So Dempsey's going to be under savage pressure now. Port will have to up it a gear.
So Coffey is looking for the shorter option soon. Nothing really on, but he kicks it across to Owen McCann, who's standing outside. They have to have an extra man somewhere, and that looks to be Owen McCann. Tries to set off in the pace. He gets it. Colin Murphy breaks off his hands, and that could be a ball that went Portarlington's way. Obviously, Mark Barry got a hand on it. Interception there as Colin Murphy gets to play underway again for them. Straight into Coffey. We know Coffey, the green number, but Peter O'Leary's on him. Peter O'Leary tackling very fairly, said Seamus Mulhare, but unfairly now, says Seamus Mulhare. And Peter definitely not happy with that decision. Seamus Mulhare going over to have a chat with him, I think. Peter just did a bit of tackling. Rona Coffey remains on the ground. Seamus Mulhare is calling across Peter, and maybe Peter had a bit of word of advice to Seamus about refereeing that he didn't like.
I see Derek Dunn coming on for Dempsey now. Is Conor Murdo coming on?
Well, no, maybe not. He's coming this direction. You'd think not at this stage, because Conor is playing plenty more in the legs for him, and he'll be a real important man to close the stage of this game. You see now shortly a yellow card for Peter O'Leary. And we'll see now who makes way.
Could be Micheál Finlay. I don't know now.
We haven't seen anyone come off yet.
I'm not sure if anyone came off.
No, the linesman hasn't spotted yet.
Micheál Finlay,
it is yet. So they were leaving him on there for a minute. So now Portarlington with the free, kicks it in, comes to Murphy, but drops out his hands. Colin Murphy tried to play it on the ground. Coffey, a great pick up, but it came. He's bobbed off his hands again, and Adam Ryan is back to settle it up now. Adam being tackled really hard there. And that's by Derek Dunn. Dunn into Ryan. Ryan gets pushed again after Derek Dunn. Seamus Mulhare spotted that. Unnecessary there from Derek Dunn.
It was unnecessary. It's a little bit of inexperience there from Derek Dunn. He tackled fairly hard for the first ball that came to him. When Adam released the ball, then he kind of needless foul and gave away a needless free to Port. Just seen the sending off Pat for Dempsey's. I don't know, Brian Nugent for first yellow card. The second yellow card, I don't know, Pat. Listen, it's kind of hard with a first glance at it here, but as after putting the Dempsey's under woeful pressure for the rest of the match.
So Colin Slevin got that, and Coffey's surrounded by 4 or 5 men. 4 or 5, Conor Murdo being one of them, and he wins the ball and they break out with it. Owen McCann is in there, they're all standing. Seamus Mulhare gives them a free on this occasion and brings it up. They don't know what it's for. Colin Murphy asking Shane Mulhare more than anything what it was for, but Mulhare is having nothing. He moves the ball forward. Now Howland on it. They're going. O'Dempsey's a bit of a gap up now. Mulpeter threw a bit of a check there. Did you see them? Johnny Kelly outside to Barry. Barry goes over his hands. Who's going to deal with it? Is it Alex Mohan? But is it going out? Mulpeter on it. Umpire has waved it wide. And it all comes to nothing there at the end of it. O'Dempsey's claiming for some late hit, but I think Seamus Mulhare was right beside that. I don't think there was anything there.
No, in that, Pat. O'Dempsey begin to panic a little small bit, Pat, when they get up to the final third of the field here. No need, slow down. Because they have plenty of fucking lads as well at the score, Pat.
They do. Scott Osborne now, ready to kick it out. The How Long Brigade are ahead again. I hope they come though. Rona Coffey takes the kick out. Run well, being tackled by Howland, no freezes, and comes to Adam Ryan. It drops over his hands again. That's like really hard on everyone. And they outball Barry now. Mark Barry into the scoring position. Big Dan is outside him. Dan goes on. Dan tries to get to it. It pops away from his hands, and that's real unfortunate for Dan. But again, Mark Barry could have taken it, Eddie, could he? His own score.
Could have taken, but the final pass was poor. It was 3 or 4 yards in front of him instead of giving it to him in his hand. Listen, It's just a kind of a small mistake. It's unfortunate for O'Dempsey's. Could have been a goal chance there, Pat. I think these chances that they're missing might come back and road to miss the chances.
Yeah, Scott Osborne now with the kick out again. Looking to see where the options are. They're all trying to get inside Shane Mulhair's head, but McCann goes to the ground, but it drops out of his hands there. And it's well picked up by Johnny Kelly. Johnny's been really superb today for O'Dempsey's. O'Leary, Peter, another man, been absolutely sending. He turns, met by Jason Moore there. He still gets it between 2 or 3 of them. He's on the ground, there's 3 of them, Handy, McCann, Jason Moore, and it breaks out to be him. And how Seamus Mulhair saw a free, a handle on the ground, and Peter O'Leary certainly isn't impressed with that. And he's bringing it up. Peter needs to watch himself on the yellow card, I suppose, and that's the last thing they'd want is second yellow for Peter.
Peter's definitely not to cool down, because if O'Dempsey can pull off a win here, he'd be surely candidate for man of the match, but just wants to cool down a small little bit.
So Colin Murphy's come further out the field now today, or at this point in time, to get the ball, and he's able to let it drop over his shoulder and still regain tension because there's no one on him. As O'Dempsey's kind of retreat and wait for him to come on. They're down the man, as we know now. Jason Moore onto Sean Byrne. Byrne looking up. There's still a wall of O'Dempsey's men in front of him. They're just waiting patiently. Alex Mohan tips around with it back to Moore, back to Mohan. Mohan sees the gap, it'll go through to Adam Ryan. Ryan met there, and that's an accidental collision, I think, between Barry Howland. There was nothing tension there, I think, just as Adam turned, Barry was standing there.
Yeah, kind of a head collision, Pat, so he looks a bit shaken up there as well, so that could be nasty.
Yeah, and again, the referee has to, that's what they have to do, is stop. O'Dempsey's had the wind. They haven't capitalised on it fully, Eddie, have they?
No, not really, Pat. They've missed maybe a goal chance up here, and they've also kicked 2 or 3 relatively easy balls wide. So they'll be a little bit disappointed with that. But Porter to stay in there. They're still 3 points ahead. They're not playing by any means outstanding or anything, but they're getting the job done.
They are, yeah. As Seamus Mulhair calls, rightly so, for a break, a water break, as Adam Ryan is still receiving the attention on the ground. Barry Howland is up, but is down on his knees now, just feeling the effects of that. Portarlington will be happy. They're still, they're that 3 points ahead playing into Gale. Dempsey's have a lot. Okay, we're down to 14 men, but they've a bit of work to do, Eddie. Saying the obvious.
Yeah, we're 14 down to 14 men, as you say, but to have a win behind their back, maybe they'll. If I was Francis Finn now, I'd leave Big Dan in at the edge of the square. Maybe a chance. Good. They're 4 wides in the second half, and it's not good. They're relatively easy wides as well. But what's this water break for?
Yeah, as if there's enough falling over the sky. Maybe teams use it as a bit of a team talk. It's kind of a thing to resettle.
It's kind of the strain every game where we go look at when the game gets going, momentum gets into a game, and all of a sudden then it's a water break, even in the first and then the second. What is it for? Or who come up with this?
Well, it's to stop all these water boys running on. I blame Brian Breen for it, but anyway, running on and off the field and filling up space. But again, now Podge Bannon has run all the way back to his goal. Thanks, Emer, for that. Podge Bannon has run all the way back to his goal and try and restart it again. The players have gone off. They were just about getting warmed up, Eddie. Now they're cold again.
I just can't understand it to tell you the truth.
It's no fault of anyone here. This is just the rules laid down, and just have to follow them. So look. On a day like today, it's probably not as beneficial as a warm day would, getting a bit of a water break. But Colin Murphy now going to start that head collision there. Seamus Mulhair is given a free, and they play on as Coffey gets it off Murphy. Colin Murphy back on the ball now, going through in the middle as he drags around, trying to get a kick off. Seamus Mulhair with the hand in the air, and there was advantage there. O'Dempsey's men plead innocence, but
no, I think that was a free, but he was going to kick the ball and he got a touch just as he was going to kick the ball. But well played again by Colin Murphy. He'll slap this over the bar at his ease to put them 4 points up, which will be a big lead now going into the last 10 minutes. It's do or die now for both teams, Pat. Obviously the loser goes out, so Dempsey will have to rise their game now.
Yeah, it's critical time for him, and it's like Colin Murphy has been instrumental in Portarlington today. They really, he's been tremendous today. Now, we know they got through over the line the last time without him, but he's such an important player, such a huge player for Portarlington. And he kicks that one away because I think it's a bit flat on the bottom, Eddie, or flat on the outside. Dempsey's people have probably claimed that was his attempt at a free.
Didn't even make the silent part of the wind.
He obviously told it to Seamus Mulhair what his intention was going to do. So Colin Murphy, the second chance, he's going to get it with the proper ball, full of air, and over it goes, and that's stretched out to 4 points. 14 men, of course, for O'Dempsey's. That's really going to be hard from the struggle, even though there's wind against them. But you need your forwards inside being able to get the ball and try and score. At the moment, they're not getting it. It's not getting to them.
And they have their loose man back in the half-back line. Adam Ryan is playing their loose man. Is on the ball again there now.
Howland came for that, but McCann, as he does everything, breaks away from him. And that's Tom Behan with it. Behan back out to O'Leary. Derek Dunn, yeah. Now Howland steps back into traffic as Coffey tries to swallow him up. Comes to Fionn Holland. Holland back is coming across here. Mark Barry, he's too far out from goals to be any threat to Portarlington. He's sitting over here on the lead, but now they come. This is that's not that breaks from, and that was
free in
Cormac O'Hora, and they came through the burst in the middle and they get the free as Tom Bean sets it off to Mark Barry. Mark Barry now, this is what he does best. And that's what he's done again. And that's what they need, more of that O'Dempsey's, and they need that from Mark Barry, don't they?
Well, it's a great score from Mark. He was about 20, 25, 30 yards out with the wind. It was always going to favour him, but she should have been doing it twice or 3 times beforehand to kind of get the ball away. But puts them back in at 3 points behind again, Pat.
They go short there. Seamus Malera said it wasn't off the ground. He tells the crowd who were saying it was, but it wasn't. They were lucky enough there, Cathal Bennett, I think, on that occasion. They kick it out, but Slevin's not going to win that. They're coming. Johnny Kelly came, but Portarlington mop it up. Owen McCann trying to break his way through. Back to Piggott. Piggott has been kind of doing a marshalling job all day. Haven't seen him burst up the field too many times today, but Jason Moore and Rion Murphy, who's been on the world of ball today, really tenacious tackler. Back to Sean Byrne, who's playing really well as well for them. He gets by Howland, pushes him up, and the ball drops out of his hand. He kicks it across. That's the conditions you're playing in, unfortunately. That's no fault of Sean Burns in particular himself.
The less hopping of the ball done by players, the better, Pat. It just doesn't come back up to you on a day like today. So you're better off taking a solo. See Stephen O'Neill coming on for Port now.
Yeah, Stephen O'Neill, another great player for them. Has been really important to Portarlington this year. And Rion Murphy seems to be making way. He's left it all out in the field anyway. He's really tried, really tackled really hard. His work rate has been tremendous. Little bit surprised maybe to bring him, but
but listen, he's played well. He won't
does.
mind. He's contributed to Port's game. Stephen O'Neill's a very good experienced player to have in the Port squad, so he'll do no harm when he comes in.
Peter O'Leary trying to get the ball on the way. He does inside, but Adam Ryan is underneath that. Catches it drops and catches it again. I doubt that's Alex Mohan. Another exceptional player, good player for you last year already. And Jason Moore coming out, and here's Colin Murphy up far, Barry Howland all over him and fouls him to the ground, and Murphy goes down again to the ground holding his head, and this time he's not happy with the attention he got, and Barry made sure he wasn't going any further there.
He started putting in a few hits, but that was a honest fair hit as well by Barry Howland. I would think, okay, a free kick is given, but he's playing well, Barry Howland. Still anyone's game though, even though Port are 3 points up. Is there a goal in this game? I mean,
Conor Murder's in the edge of square now for Dempsey's, and Big Dan is outside him, so and that goes short, and Jason Coffey or Ronald Coffey picks it up, has to come back, took a lot of steps and dispossessed there by Hatch. The Hatch doing really great work there, and Barry Howland, but it breaks again. Coffey's on it again, goes to the ground with it. Coffey comes up with it, still has it on the ground, caught for over carrying, I think. Free to for O'Dempsey's. Or for Portarlington, sorry, he was judged that Barry Howland was pulling back, I think was the signal by Seamus Mulher. Slevin starts it off now. Colin to Sean Byrne. David Murphy come out to him, doesn't use him. People calling for him, and that's Owen McCann, but that pops off important interception, and Barry Kelly comes out with it, tries to dance around his way. Peter O'Leary on it now, and he puts it out to the wing, trying to relieve pressure. And that was Cormac O'Hora to Fionn Holland, and Holland straight down. Here they come now, O'Dempsey's into Big Dan. Dan gets it, Piggott around him, it bounces away from him, but Dan's still going after it. Piggott in behind him, and so is Jason Moore. Jason Moore comes out to guide him over the line. Jason puts him under pressure. He comes back across. The Hatch is underneath it, and that is that Tom Behan there that went for it, and referee's given a free. And as Barry Howland has really, he's been in everything today, Eddie, and he's just, so many tackles in a row, and all these things have just paid its toll on Barry Howland.
Yeah, Barry's gone off. He must have picked up a slight injury. You see Robbie McNeil is in for him. So it'd be a bit of a loss to it.
Oh, huge,
well,
that's both their midfielders gone now.
Yeah.
One through double yellow card, a red card, and now Barry out with injury. But as I said, he was been in the thick of most things in there. Peter O'Leary, do you fancy a launch in by Peter here with
Could
this
happen.
one? Even at this stage,
No.
He goes short, and that's
a bad mistake.
That's a bad mistake. Colin Murphy was there waiting for it, and Adam Ryan breaks out with it. Uncharacteristic from Peter. Comes back to Sean Byrne. Sean Byrne, and the new man in, O'Neill, is waiting for it here. He's still getting dragged back. Sean Byrne has it. O'Leary now go back to him. Colin Murphy still looking. He pounces aside to Coffey. Round the Coffey, went to ground. No freeze to Shamel here. No point putting out your hands if the referee doesn't blow the whistle. And on the come, but it's intercepted Sean Byrne, but he's pulled up badly there. I could see, I think, just something looked like it went there from him, but O'Dempsey won't mind. But it's gone over the sideline. A line ball for Portarlington. A lot of stuff going on there. Sean Byrne looked to be injured when he went down, but he's back up again. Ronan Coffey was in there looking for free, but Eddie, you have to stay playing till the referee blows the whistle. No point.
Ronan was, I think he was trying to buy you free there, but
Yeah.
listen, there's kind of more spaces open up in Port here.
Yeah.
Obviously, where the Dempsey's kind of trying to push forward to narrow the lead, and down to an extra man, they're going to leave more space for Port. So you could see Port getting a breakaway score too before the game's over.
Foster goes to Moore, back to Mulpeter, back to Coffey. Coffey turns back the other way, back to McCann. McCann out to Jake Foster. Jake now looking up. He's David Murphy outside. I'm sure he'll pass it. I mean, he does. Murphy will coolly, casually, won't panic with this as Coffey comes back to Mulpeter. Mulpeter under pressure now, is he? He's dispossessed, but he's able time to gather it. Still unpossessed. That's hard tackling there from Cormac O'Hora. They still haven't got it, but Coffey comes out with it again. Kicks the ball inside to Jake Foster, who was unmarked. He's the extra man on this occasion. Goes out too far out from goal. Colin Murphy's in the middle here, calling for it, and Jake Foster drops it. Now it's coming back. David Murphy has it on it. Gets the hop on it. The ball is dead when it hops. He gets tackled and looking for a free, but no free coming. Barry Kelly's going to start off O'Dempsey's. 55 minutes gone. No need to panic for O'Dempsey's, but they don't need to score. Big Dan gets that. He drops out his hands and it's tipped around the ground from Piggott. Piggott marshalling him really well there today. As Colin Murphy has on. Dan goes back, makes the tackle, but causes the free as well. Lazy tackle there, Eddie, but again, Piggott has marshal Dan there today.
He's kept Dan very quiet in the game. The conditions is not really helping Dan. He's kind of struggling with trying to hop a ball and trying to catch balls. Quick free taking her path.
Quick free inside to David Murphy to Coffey. Coffey tries to get through, breaks. Back out to David Murphy. David Murphy out to Jake Foster. Foster come back. Piggott is outside of me, but he doesn't. Foster comes inside the new man McNeil. He tries to make the kick. No free, said Mulher. And on they go. So Dempsey's have it again now. A little bit wasteful from Portarlington, I suppose, but they won't mind. They're trying to get it back again, and they do. New man in there. Stephen O'Neill done good work. Coming back to Coffey. Ronan Coffey has it. 4 or 5 men standing around. The ball is on the ground. Could be anyone's. Dan tried to pull on it, didn't come. Barry Kelly pulls on it, but Adam Ryan ends up with it. There's loads of Portarlington in this side of the field, and they have him. One of them is Jason Moore. Colin Slevin. McCann now. He's the farthest out. Running ahead of him is Sean Byrne. And Jason Moore went in harder. He was going to stop, but Peter O'Leary comes out with it. Grabbed to the ground unceremoniously. But Peter plays on. No messing with Peter. He want to get it going, and Mark Barry has it. There's still work going on back here as the boys tangle with each other still. But they won't go on. Mark Barry going. Through the middle is Bean. He goes to ground. Gives it to Tom Bean. Bean turned aside. He turned back on the left. No, back out to Barry. Will Barry go? He comes back on his right. Takes the kick. And that's a score, is it? Umpires are undecided.
I think he was right.
Yeah, I think he's right. I think he went over the top of the post. Yeah. The umpires just hadn't themselves placed really well to get that one.
I think the right decision was made up. It looked like from here that the ball was wide. I don't know now.
But there's plenty of lads down there. The linesman is on his microphone. Seamus Mulher is holding in the air, waiting for a decision to be made. Mark Barry's out pleading with the linesman.
Yeah, it was a wide ball.
So the decision stands, and Seamus Mulher goes with his umpires, which is, look, that's what your team is for, Eddie. This is what you're dependent on for.
No, listen, the referee has made the right call there. I think the ball was wide. It looked to me that I could have been a good maybe foot wide. But anyway, Mark was forced.
So Dahi Howland coming in for big Dan McCormack. So the big launching high ball into the square isn't going to be an option this time around as Dan makes his way off the field. I suppose Robbie Piggott cancelled out his his threat in this game, and he's not a happy man. But anyway, that's the decision. O'Dempsey's have to make it this night. They need to get back. Dahi Hole in it for him, and it comes out, but Meredith goes high to claim that one and got the mark and kicks it on. Who's underneath? That's the new man that's in there, Dahi Hole, and he takes a kick. And that could be a fantastic score. That's a fantastic score. Just new in on the field. Was that a score?
I don't know.
Someone's shouting there. Huh?
So the score must have been wide, Pat, was it?
I don't know. I thought it was. They were still looking at each other again. It was wide. Okay, score is 7 points to 4. Portarlington lead. 59 minutes gone. It's a real low scoring game with this weather. You'd expect nothing else as Portarlington come on the attack with Colin Murphy. Murphy be really tenacious today with him. Still has the ball. Looking, Peter O'Leary chasing him. So is Barry Kelly. Barry Kelly gets him. Turn inside to Murphy. Murphy pops it across to O'Neill. O'Neill with a shot. And that could well be the insurance point, Eddie, couldn't it, at this stage?
Brilliant work by Colin Murphy again. So instrumental in everything Port does. Took the ball in, took his time, popped the ball off to Stephen O'Neill, and Stephen O'Neill had an easy score from about 14 metres out.
So we're gone into injury time. Not sure how long it'll be played. There could be a couple of minutes with a good few lads down. We're going to see what it is now shortly. So the scoreboard says Portarlington 8 points, so Dempsey's 4. It breaks again. Out here comes Fionn Holland. Fionn Holland dispossessed by O'Neill. Comes back to Peter O'Leary. Peter O'Leary across to Tom Behan. Behan back to Nerney. Nerney now. They try to get it going. Here come O'Dempsey's. They're still working. Behan has it. Portarlington funnel back. Conor Meredith. Ball inside. That's the new man in. That's Dahi Howell, isn't it? Yeah. He gets through 2-3 Portarlington men. And still gets away with it. Well played by him. Hard to pick the ball up now. It's with here it goes.
Paul Bennett.
Out to Robbie Piggin and Portarlington to clean the lines. Colin Slevin has it. Be harshly tackled by the Hatch. You kind of knew what the Hatch was going to do when he set off with that one, I think. But again, I think it was just the way Colin turned. I'm sure there was any malice in it. The Hatch is certainly not a dirty player by any means or manner. And the physio goes down on the ground there to give some attention to Colin Slevin.
I'm not sure there's an awful lot in it. I'd say Colin will be fine. He just kind of got a shoulder into the front. I'd say it'd be a yellow card for a Hatch. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, the physio's down there with him. Look, all precautions will be taken at this stage, I'm sure. The clock is running down. Not sure, we're heading into 2 minutes gone overtime. A yellow card for the Hatch there. Again, the Hatch, certainly not a dirty player by any means. Good sporting young fella, and
it's been a good sporting game.
It has, absolutely.
The only thing that has played a massive part in the game is the conditions, unfortunately. It's very hard to play football on a day like today. We said it's probably the reason that the match has been so low scoring. The quality mightn't be as high as obviously it was a dry day with the football, the way it gets slippy and all the underfoot conditions. It's terrible hard to play football, really. But I think Port are just about probably deserving the position they're in.
So Colin Slevin looks to be, he doesn't want to be come off, and that'll be Colin. The 2 or 3 of them trying to get him to come off the field. Colin is no notion of coming off, absolutely. But I think he's going to have to play on for the minute, and they try to bring in, looks like Jordy Fitzpatrick and Cathal Ryan in there to get their taste of championship football. Adam Ryan up to him, being tackled there and well tackled, and O'Dempsey's come away with it. Now they're on the attack. Tom Behan inside to Mark Barry. He's close out to line. Adam Ryan goes to him. 3 or 4 of them. Coffey goes to him. Mark Barry goes to ground. Being well marshaled out over the ground. Short one Peter about there. And Colin Murphy comes in to say thanks very much. We're delighted with that. That'll do us no harm. As Cathal Ryan and then looks like Jordan Fitz on the line. I'd say. So now, what are we going to do? Colin Slevin will be taken off the field from Portarlington. They're trying to bring in the sub there. The linesman is trying to get the attention of the referee. The referee is letting them play on. Coffey takes it. inside it goes. So that went by O'Neill. Now Barry Kelly chips it up nicely. They're still going to stay going in fairness to O'Dempsey's. Tom Bean, a big high ball in there, but Big Dan isn't in their side. But who is? But that's Mohan. No, that was Cathal Bennett. Nearly got. Barry comes out to shadowed by Alex Mohan, and Alex Mohan, another tenacious tackler. And linesman still trying to get in. The subs there not working for him, but Portarlington won't mind. And the final whistle is blown, and Portarlington win today on a scoreline of 8-4. Conditions were terrible, but a sporting game by both close neighbours and friends and foes and whatever you want to call them, Eddie.
Yeah, listen, as you said, Barry, you're right about the conditions, but it probably wasn't the best of games to look at, truly down to that. But listen, Port to be happy, obviously, with the win. I'm not sure Martin Murphy would be delighted with the performance, or maybe he won't mind after getting into the semi-final. So, to join Ballyfin and to join Great Cullen and either Emo or Portlaoise in the semi-final. So, Port will be happy, but Dempsey will be obviously disappointed to go out. But they did put in a battling performance against the weather, and even down to 14 men was probably a little bit too much out of their grasp.
Yeah, and when you look at it, the wides we talked about earlier, Dempsey's had 9 wides in total in the match, compared to just 2 from Portarlington. Yeah. And again, like with only 3 or 4 points in it, they could have told the tale. But on day like today, it just didn't work for them. That scoring boots weren't on for O'Dempsey's really today.
Yeah, but right after half time, Pat, they had 3 or 4 attempts and goals, and they kicked. I think they would have kicked 4 wides in the first 10 minutes of the second half, playing with the wind. That was a difference there. They had to be more clinical there. They would have got closer to Port. So listen, the way it panned out, maybe Port maybe just about done enough to win.
Yeah, and of course, as we said about the 4-week break, like Colin Murphy was excellent there today, that 4-week break. Ron Coffey was stuck in everything, a bit overstuck in some of the times, but in fairness to him, he really put in a big shift there. So, again, this is the third team now that got straight through the quarter-final that have got through. So the 4-week break certainly hasn't impaired any of them. In fact, it's probably done good for them to give them a rest and got players back. And so they'll now join Ballyfin. And before that we had...
Great Cullen.
So Great Cullen, Ballyfin, and
and I think, Pat, now there's a long break now to the semi-finals.
Yeah, so they don't know yet when it'll be or when the draws will be, so they're not going to be any draw tonight because they don't know when the semis will be. But look, from O'Dempsey's point of view, they've tried really hard. You know what I mean? They came of age, I suppose, the last day with their win, their late win. The one, the loss against Emo that live long in them, that was the one they coughed up, I suppose, really, Eddie, wasn't it? That they were leading by 4 points and they lost that one late on to Emo, and they might have had their path straight to the quarter final. But
that's right. But despite the conditions today, Pat, they didn't lack an effort.
No.
And they will go off because they're the really young team too. Dempsey's couple of young lads coming up there, and they're a fine side. If you look at Dempsey Club, Pat, to have 3 adult teams in it and all juvenile on their own, you have to sit back and just admire them. They'll be back. Portarlington, on the other hand, they'll have Paddy Sullivan now back for the semi-final as well, which will be an extra boost to them. So they will take stock. And I wouldn't say today was their best performance of the championship, but it's enough to get them through to the semi-final.
Okay, so Portarlington, they would have been tipped, I suppose, from the start of the year ready to be here. It's been a fairly, low scoring, but they've got there. There'll be nothing set anything on fire, but they're still happy. Martin Murphy will be delighted, of course. They're now in the semi-final. All to play for them.
It is, and in a way, it's a nice way to win a semi-final because Martin Murphy won't be too. Obviously, he'll be a little bit down over the forms, but he can work on that in training now. There's room for improvement in Port. But they're still there, and as I said before, they have Paddy Sullivan to add back into that, and he'll be a massive boost for the semi-final.
Yes, so as we'll say goodbye from MW Hiramore Park, the Laois Senior Shopping Centre quarter-final, the third quarter-final of the second one of today, the third one of the weekend. Portarlington go through on the low scoreline of 8-4. My thanks to Eddie Kinser for joining me, the Laois Under-20 manager, and Eddie, it's been good to watch it. Okay conditions. Fair play to both teams for really putting on the sporting occasion there today, despite the conditions. And the pitch is holding up really well. And we look forward to the next match. But again, thanks, Eddie, and we'll say goodbye to you from MW Hiramore Park, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.
No bother.